Now more than ever, innovative technologies are fueling change and sparking new ways of thinking. Collaboration between corporations and startups is key to staying at the forefront of these trends. However, finding the right startups can be expensive, time-consuming, and ineffective. But Plug and Play is here to help. As a corporate partner, you will gain access to a whole ecosystem of innovation. Discover startups that meet your tech interests. Stay updated on the latest trends and network with industry peers. We will help you during every stage of your innovation journey, no matter where you are and where you want to go. Get in touch today.
Welcome everyone. We're super excited to host you here today. Italy is an amazing place with a lot of culture, and I am happy to be able to bring a little bit of innovation to you here today. Today you will see the Food Summer Summit. In this, you will see technologies that are trying to make the world a little bit healthier, a little bit cleaner, and to bring a little bit of technology to the food culture you have. We are super excited to show you some of these startups, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Thanks a lot, Sina, for your words. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Italy Summer Summit 2021, of course. My name is Andrea Zorzetto, as many of you already know, and I'm the managing partner for Plug and Play in Italy. And I'm very happy to announce that in this summit, we'll cover, as usual, our food and sustainability program, starting today with the Food and Beverage Expo. So just to give you an idea of what we'll be doing today. So of course, a very interesting keynote and interventions and the pitch sessions from our startups. Then we'll award the best one of this batch. A novelty of this summit will be the master classes. And in the end, there will be a networking session as usual. You already know, or at least most of you, the history of Plug and Play, but for us, it's always interesting to touch base and reflect as open innovation in a fast-moving sector. So it feels like a long time ago that we started with the Lucky Building in Silicon Valley, and then we launched our VC arm, and about 10 years ago, by now, our open innovation programs. As you know, our model of connecting the best startups worldwide with large corporations has proven very successful. We brought it around the world. And in 2019, we started the Italian offices, and food has been the first vertical that we launched here. And you know that we're all over the world, and even though there's been COVID and so many disruptions over the last year and a half, we didn't stop expanding our footprint. For example, we're very proud to have extended our flagship program with the Alliance to End Plastic Waste from 3 countries to 3 others. So not just Europe, Singapore, and Silicon Valley, but also we're covering South America, Africa, and China, to Shanghai. And even in EMEA, we've launched new offices all over the place, including one in Italy that we'll tell you a bit more about in a second. And so you also know our infrastructure and how we keep expanding, not just in terms of physical offices, but also in terms of the connections that we have with startups all over the world. And all of this information goes onto Playbook, our main source for keeping all in one place and what startups are doing and how they're collaborating with our corporate partners. And just to give you a few numbers on 2020, so we kept growing, and in 2019 we reached about 400 corporate partners, and so we added 20% more in 2020. And you can see also, of course, how the US and America in general remains the main market for us, but EMEA, including Italy, makes up a sizable proportion of this. A big increase, actually, probably in percentage terms, the largest increase also in the number of startups we accelerated. It was about 1,500 in 2019, and again, grown by almost a third to more than 2,000 startups accelerated last year. And of course, also more than 1,000 deal flow sessions. So I know that as a corporate partner or as a startup, you probably do 3, 4, maybe 6 of these sessions per year. But as you can see, all over the world is more than 1,000. So a very big number that makes us proud. And of course, we kept investing, more than 160 investments last year, even though, of course, it's been more difficult than usual given the COVID situation, but there's also many sectors that have exploded in terms of growth. So we kept investing and ranking among the most active early stage investors worldwide. And what about Italy, you may ask? So we've told you a few times about our strategy and what our objectives for the market are. So you might wonder, how are things going? So number one point has always been for us delivering real results to our partners and also to the startups that engage in the program. And we can say that just for the food programs, we've had more than 30 pilots since we started. So these are the concrete results that we want to show, and we know are what makes the investments of our corporate partners work. The second point is, of course, making sure that we keep providing a global perspective. We've seen how matchmaking is a very difficult part of open innovation, and it works better if it's on an international scale. And we've had hundreds of startups introduced to our partners in the last few years, and of these 85% come from abroad. Of course, great Italian startups are also represented. And for points 3 and 4, that of course are very difficult when you enter a new market, have been about building critical mass, and you see in a moment how much we've been expanding our network of partners and programs, and at the same time investing more in areas where Italy has a strong track record. So you of course already know about the food, fintech, and sustainability programs that we launched between 2019 and 2020. But what's new? Well, what's new is of course the platform, the program we're launching with Facebook. Then it's run together with our Singapore colleagues at Plug and Play, so for both Asia Pacific and EMEA. And this is a program that you might have seen on LinkedIn. We're just recruiting startups for at the moment. And then, of course, the new office that we're launching in Modena together with Crete and very important institutional investors such as CDP, UniCredit, and Fondazione di Modena. And this the previous slide. So, of course, expanding in an important way our footprint in the country and bringing on board very strategic corporate partners, but at the same time giving us the chance to invest together with the institutional investors I mentioned in Italian startups. And we're very confident that in the automotive space, our country has something important to say. But yeah, then as you can see, for us, traction, as for startups, for us as well, traction is very important. And we're proud to say that at every summit that we host, we're adding logos and programs to this slide. So that's one of our first measures of success. And to go, of course, to the next part. So what is the main focus of today? The food and beverage program. This time we had 60 startups in the elite list. So the list that we sent to Esselunga, Lavazza, and Tetra for them to decide what they want to focus on, and based on their areas of interest, of course. We had 24 of them at the selection day, and 11 were the startups selected to run pilots with over the last semester. And just to give you an idea, these are the focus areas and how the startups are distributed along them. And careful observers and listeners know already that these are more or less what we've been covering since the start. Product innovation has been added more recently, But as you can see, very interesting that the focus on sustainability and manufacturing, supply chain operations in general have been the most important topics in the last batch. But of course, new materials and retail remain very important as well. And finally, also just to corroborate what we were saying at the beginning, it's quite international, the footprint of the startups that we have in our batch also this semester. So you can see, as usual, North America, Israel, and the wider European area. And having said that, of course, Arianna, that you know as well, I'll pass the mic to her so she can give you more details about the day. And thanks for listening, and also for always participating in Plug and Play events. And enjoy, and good luck to all the startups pitching today.
A warm welcome also from my side. I'm Arianna, and I'm the Corporate Partnership and Program Manager at Plug and Play Italy, which means that I'm supporting our corporate partners in driving innovation internally, designing the program for the startups and activities for the wider community at Plug and Play. And I'm super excited to be here today in such a special day. A special day that would not be such without the support of our founding and core partner, Esselunga, Lavazza, and Tetra. So thank you so much for the team, for all the people who are involved within the organization and really supporting the activities. I'm super happy also to be thanking the Food and Beverage Spring 2021 startup who have made up the batch this year. You're going to be hearing from them shortly, and I'm sure you're going to find their innovations and their activities super interesting. But as a program would not be such without a special thanks to our 24 in-between speakers. We've been hosting 9 workshops this year, and the 14 mentors who've been supporting and dedicating time to the startups to support them in growing their business. But what is really going to happen today? So let's move forward into our agenda. Today, our day is going to be divided into 4 sessions. In the first part, we're going to be talking about what is the sustainable future outlook for our corporate partners. And we're going to be discussing these together with Davide Braghiroli from Tetra Pak, together with Veronica Rossi from Lavazza, and Federico Mendonça from Esselunga. We're then going to kick off with the first fireside chat of the day. It's going to be regarding the evolution of manufacturing in Tetra Pak, and we're going to be talking about this together with Paolo Scarabelli. And then we're going to be hearing our startups, our first part of the startups for the ones working in the supply chain and manufacturing space. We will then be moving into the second part of our day. We're going to be kicking off with 2 panels. The first one is going to be about the future of packaging for Esselunga, and we're going to be hearing from Fabio Fiorelli. And then we're going to be moving and talking together with Lavazza, especially with Mario Supina and Nur Eral, about how they're leveraging new technologies for gathering customer insights. And we'll also be hearing more startup speeches today. They're going to be the first part about new materials and sustainability, and then also about retail and analytics. Of course, a day would not be such without an award, and so make sure you'll be voting for the best startup, and we're going to be assigning the startup award for the 2021 Food and Beverage batch. And then in the third part, we are going to be having master classes. So we're going to have them in batches of 2. The first 2 and the first part are going to be the first one about gamification as a new communication channel. And we're going to be talking about this together with Elisabetta Barbieri and Martina Phil from Lavazza and Nicola Santin from Galindo. We are also in parallel going to be listening about what are our immunity boosting opportunities according to Tetra Pak? And we're going to have Giancarlo La Rocca talking about this. Secondly, we're going to have 2 more master classes. The first one about proteins alternatives in the present and in the future. And we'll be talking about this together with Audrey Gear from the Good Food Institute. And last but not least, another amazing project that has been run together between one of our corporate partners, Esselunga, and one of our startups. Back 360, and we're going to see how it's possible to implement an end-to-end product traceability system. Last but not least, we are going to be having the opportunities to interact on a one-to-one basis with our startups. We're going to have a networking session. Each of the startup is going to have its own booth. So it's really going to have the opportunity for you to listen more, ask more, and really gather all the needed information you might have. So with that said, I would say let's kick it off and let's get into the first part of today, and let's move into the first roundtable. So let's start. You know, as plug-and-play sustainability has always been top of mind, now more than ever. We are really focused on making sure that we are really playing a part in driving in innovation and sustainability. And we're doing this in every and each batch of our programs. Also for us, you know, the UN Sustainability Development Goals provide a real strong framework to work on and to work together for a better future. We are really aware that we are facing enormous challenges that need to be tackled, and together we really can achieve greater results in a way more significant way to drive a longer lasting impact. Sustainability is really no longer a nice to have. It has become a must have for everyone and for every company and its own culture. And today I would like to talk about this topic together with a great panel. I would love to welcome Veronica Rossi, Sustainability Reporting and Lavazza Foundation Manager from Lavazza, Davide Braghiroli, Product Manager Packaging Material from Tetra Pak, and Federico Lopez de Mendonça, Grocery Manager Director of Esselunga. But let's start with Veronica. You know, Lavazza, among our partners, is the one with the longest lasting history. We really need to go back in 1935 when Luigi Lavazza stated that a world that destroys the goods of nature is the one where I do not belong. I'm sure this vision has really impacted your sustainability strategy, but how did it actually do it?
Thank you, Arianna. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me here. It's really a pleasure for me. And well, as you said, this sentence of our founder, Luigi Lavazza, was really crucial for our sustainability history, I would say, because this vision where nature is at the center, not because, you know, just we deal with a natural product, which is coffee, but because we deal with a product which is truly part of an environment made up of nature, of course, and people. And so it's really important to have a sustainability vision which really encompasses all the aspects of the coffee culture, I would say. So these inputs coming from our founder really contributed to the construction of the DNA of the company. And during the many years of Lavazza history, sustainability has been shaped in different ways. And in 2015, with a very long jump in history, 120 years, at the time we were publishing our first sustainability report, and we were taking part of the Expo Milan 2015. So it was our birthday, our first sustainability report, our first Expo. At the time, we decided to embrace the newborn Sustainability Agenda 2030 of the United Nations. So that was the time when we really decided to change the way, well, not to change, I would say to advance the way we faced sustainability by defining our sustainability strategy or vision, as you prefer. And we decided to look at the Sustainability Agenda 2030 by choosing 4 sustainability priorities for Lavazza, which will drive our action until 2030. And these priorities are 4. 2 social ones and 2 environmental ones. The social ones are focusing on Goal 8, decent jobs and economic growth, and Goal 5 on gender equality. And then our 2 environmental priorities are Goal 12, sustainable production and consumption, and Goal 13 on climate action. I will not take too much time to explain what is behind all these 4 goals and what is behind the process that we needed to embark in to choose these 4 goals. We took 1 year to choose the 4 priorities. As you may imagine, we needed to do a very deep stakeholder engagement process and a very big awareness campaign within our company, because we wanted our people to be aware of what Agenda 2030 entailed for them in their daily work, and how we could change the world in some ways by changing the way we treat our product and the way we work every day. So these were and are our 4 priorities. And since 2018, we started to draft our sustainability report, not just following the Global Reporting Initiative standards, KPIs, but also following the targets of these 4 goals. So in our sustainability report, you will find the progress on what the progress of Lavazza are on these 4 goals. And this is also driving our new projects in sustainability, but I'm sure we will talk about it in the next phases of the discussion.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you so much for this impressive overview of the work that has been carried out in the past years from Lavazza. I would pass and ask you something, Davide. First of all, welcome to you as well. And, at Tetra Pak, your approach to sustainability, I think it's really shaped by your motto, protects what's good. And this is really revolving around 3 keywords that you keep on using, and I've seen and read a lot about them, which are food, people, and futures. Can you tell us a little bit about each of them, and what are you working and how you're working in each of these categories?
Yes, hi Arianna, and thank you for inviting me for this discussion. I think that you give me the opportunity to spend a bit of a time to explain how broad is the horizon of sustainability that Tetra Pak is undertaking. And yeah, food, people, and futures represent the 3 cornerstones of our sustainability mission, and represents the 3 main chapters of our sustainability reporting. When it comes to food, of course, we are a food packaging company, and so it's been there from the very beginning. The initial idea was to protect the food, basically. To protect the food, we need to engage the customers, and this was actually the real mandate the company had in the early 50s and 60s when the company really started to go global. To do that, to engage customers, we need to have the right level of food safety, or even be outstanding in food safety. So demonstrate we provide a packaging solution that protect food in the long run. And we need to be and to have trust and traceability systems to protect the food along all the way the food is transported and moved across the globe. Of course, this has always to happen in keeping the food quality. So without any impact on the quality of the food our customers want to provide to consumers, and expanding as much as we can the food availability, which is the other mission we have. So we want to protect food and we want to bring food everywhere. This is really the big challenge in the world today, and in a world where the population is growing at an impressive rate, especially in parts of the globe where the transportation of food is critical, and also might be related to food waste, because it's really difficult to bring food of quality in some region of the globe. So this is about food. Then we have the part about people. Of course, we want to preserve the most healthy and productive and effective environment for our workers, but this is one side. On the other side, we have started off in the last years a lot of initiatives on diversity and inclusion. Even if I have to say that when I started in Tetra Pak almost 15 years ago, it was already quite diverse and very inclusive environment. And it was the place, even in Modena where I'm working, where I really met a lot of different geographies and a multicultural environment. Then we have a lot of initiatives around talent. young talent, but not only young talent. So for any talent that might appear along your professional career, we have opportunities, and now we are also a proper system of engagement and acknowledgement and recognition of how the workers are performing. So this is about people. People always contextualize in the communities where these people live. So it's not only about Tetra Pak workers, but it's also about how Tetra Pak interact with the local communities where there are Tetra Pak sites or where Tetra Pak operates. So we have a lot of initiatives in Italy, in any country, where we have sites and where we have assets as Tetra Pak. So this is also very important because the local communities recognize as Tetra Pak as a very positive and sustainable company, even at practical level. Last cornerstone is about the, you mentioned the future that we think is linked to how we treat our planet. Because basically how we treat our planet today, it's giving us a flavor on where the planet will give us back in the future. So it's important that the planet is well treated, and we think that the packaging industry has a responsibility there. So first of all, we need to have and to establish the highest level of responsible sourcing, and this is a mission of Tetra Pak from many years. We need to have a complete understanding of the environmental impact of our packaging solutions, of the services we provide to our customers, of the impact we have on the local society. There is always an environmental impact. So we need to have a real understanding of our footprint on the planet wherever we operate. And now we need to address the challenges of the last, I would say, issues related to the planet. So the fact that we need a circular economy. We cannot develop packaging solutions that are always bringing virgin materials and creating waste that has to be, that is not recyclable. So this is not an option anymore. We need to make our recyclable solutions today, making future-proof, so recyclable for the future, and making sure that our supply options are also supply options that are renewable and circular in that case. So again, it's food, people, and planet, or food, people, and future, call as you like it, but basically is covering these areas which are in the heart of Tetra Pak from the very beginning, and now made them future-proof in a way.
Fantastic. No, this is, I think, super valuable, and I see lots of similar points between you and Lavazza on this focus on the planet on which we all live. But you kind of gave me the go to ask you the next question, because you've been talking about, circular economy and the fully renewable or recyclable package. And this is something that you guys at Tetra Pak have been working on. I mean, if we all think about Tetra Pak, we have the iconic package made with multiple layers. But I've heard that you have really started working on probably the biggest transformation in your portfolio. So what was the vision? How did you guys decide how to strategize behind, changing such a key and core product that it's within your value chain?
Yeah, thank you, Arianna. You give me a lot of opportunities today to really tell you about our philosophy. I mean, I think it's something in our DNA. Our founder said in the 50s that the package should save more than its cost. And in this quote, he was probably referring to an element that was key in that period, which is the effectiveness and efficiency of packaging should overcome and should be overcome by the value of the product inside. So the package should not be overpacking the product. It should be as efficient as possible, and therefore as sustainable as possible for the concept of sustainability that was in the 50s. Now the concept of sustainability evolved because the planet changed quite a lot, quite dramatically in the last 60 years. And today, we cannot think about a packaging that is not circular for the future. I mean, the evidence of the situation of the planet are so clear in front of us that we need to take the challenge and rethink sustainability and rethink the business and rethink the solutions we can provide to our customers in a circular way. So first of all, we need to make sure packaging solutions are recyclable and are in line with the circular economy. So the materials we use shall be recyclable and then reused for future products. And ourselves should be also those ones using recycled materials ourselves to close the loop in a way. In this context of circular economy, we have also to address the other big challenge for the planet, which is the climate change. So at the same time, this choice, this solution should be in line with the low carbon choice of materials, low carbon choice of solutions, low carbon services for our customers. This is something that we really believe is the biggest transformation our company, or I would say the packaging industry, will undertake in the next years, because these were not the basic requirement, the must requirement of the industry in the last 30 years, which were main pointing to quality that is still there, but also to low cost solutions to tackle the right price point on the market. Now we understand that consumers recognize a value on sustainability. So we see that there is a value that can be transported down to the consumer. So we can develop and innovate in that direction as well, because there is margin to innovate and develop. So that is what our biggest transformation ever it's about. So it's about circular economy, circular materials, recyclable packaging, recycled content, and low carbon, and eventually carbon neutrality and neutralization at the end of the journey.
This is a very interesting, and we're all looking forward, to hear more about the progresses also that and the achievements I'm sure you'll make. But you've been talking about packaging. We're later, as anticipated earlier, we are going to hear a panel about packaging, but I would like to pass the mic to Federico. So Federico, Esselunga has really two souls. Probably we all think it's an Italian company, but it actually has, an American heritage. We start with the American one that has really defined the pragmatism and also the organizational structure, and then we have the Italian heart from Brianza, with a really strong ethic and of giving and doing, probably majority of it in silence, as we do. And this has led you guys to release the first sustainability report. But I wanted to ask you here, what has been the approach that Esselunga has decided to take in driving these efforts and to speak out loud about sustainability?
Thank you very much for your question, Ariana. Following our path towards sustainability, attention to our customers, associates, as well to supply chain, community, and environment, last October we presented our first sustainability report, in which we retraced the main stages of our history and illustrated the main results achieved over the past years, as well as the goals that we intended to achieve by 2025. Our sustainability strategy is based on 5 micro pillars: customers, people, environment, suppliers, and community, which also represent our main stakeholders. Customer protection and satisfaction plays a central role for us, offering fresh products and products with excellent quality, guaranteeing the best price for the best quality, innovating and actively contributing to promote healthy and balanced lifestyles represents for us a constant commitment. In fact, our 2025 sustainability goals include clear and transparent labels, the development of new products that meet specific nutritional needs, the review of traditional recipes with particular attention to health and nutrition education. People, valuing people is another priority for Esselunga, and therefore we pay a great attention to features such as employee training, their involvement through internal communication, promotion of diversity and inclusion, as well as to health and workplace safety. Also, the environment plays a primary role in our sustainable strategy. For example, we encourage the use of renewable energy in all our new stores. We also developed several initiatives that aim to reduce the environmental impact of plastic packaging. In 2017, we launched a project which aims at replacing the packaging of our branded fruit and vegetables products with fully compostable materials. Regarding the supply chain, our suppliers, we are committed to promote a responsible supply chain, which respects workers' rights, the environment, and the animals. Suppliers therefore become strategic partners in order to enact commercial strategy and propose sustainable, safe, and quality products capable of satisfying our customer needs. An ethical supply chain management, involves, as well as the enhancement of local suppliers, in fact, promoting local products contributes to the twofold objective of strengthening the link with the territory and shortening the supply chain, therefore facilitating the monitoring of production processes in favor of quality and safety. And last but not least, we pay great attention to the territories and the communities where we are present by promoting solidarity initiatives and contributing to the social and economic development of local communities, in particular through the education of new generations, health research, science and innovation, and supporting families in need, especially during this last year.
Thank you so much, Federico. And now, since just to keep talking with you about the sustainability report, I wanted to ask you how this is really actually affecting the company medium and long-term strategy.
Well, as a leading grocery retailer and food company, we feel we have a great responsibility because our choices directly impact on the lifestyle of our customers, as well as on the territorial development of our country and more in generally of the planet. We think in terms of our environmental impact. The sustainability report, the 2020 version will be soon published, describes in detail what our objectives are. And we have set a first step for 2025. For each one of the 5 pillars that I mentioned before, we set precise goals in order to represent our approach, remaining faithful to one of our daily commitments, which is transparency to all of our stakeholders. To give you a few examples, our 27 goals for 2025 include the substitution of our private label products packaging with recyclable or compostable material, the reduction of green gas emission by 30%, the increase in the number of products of our Equilibrio, Bio, and Cajoy lines by more than 50%, the extension of sustainable fishing certification to 100% of Esselunga branded, packaged, frozen, and long-life fish products, and of 100% of fresh products from the yellowfin tuna, the swordfish, the salmon, and from the Esselunga and Naturama lines of Italian farmed fish.
Thank you, Federico. So we have heard from Federico about their approach and how this is affecting in the medium and long-term strategy. And I would like to get back to you, Veronica. For Lavazza, I wanted to ask you what are the main drivers, for making sure that sustainability goals are met all throughout, the upcoming years.
Thank you. Well, there are a different set of drivers, I would say, which helps a company advance in sustainability. First of all, I would say that for a family company as Lavazza, the commitment, the heart you were mentioning before, the Italian heart, is one of it. I think we are very lucky to be guided by the set of values that guided the company since the very beginning of the journey more than 120 years ago. So first of all, commitment, true commitment, even if when, we are not listed in the stock exchange, we don't have, short-term objectives to be reached. No, so the long-term vision is typical of a family company, and that's really something which really drives the sustainable development journey, because sustainability is about future and it's about long commitments, and this is really helping us in this. The second driver I would mention which is really linked to the commitment, is the product that we treat. We treat coffee, which is a natural product, which is really threatened by climate change patterns. And so we really need to have a long-term vision to make our industry as a whole, not just our company, but our industry, a sustainable one, because it's really key for the survival of the industry to have a long-term vision. And so this is really one of the main drivers that we want to keep, and which is really penetrating all the aspects of our sustainability strategy, from the work in coffee growing communities that we do with the Lavazza Foundation since 20 years, to the work we do together with suppliers, coffee suppliers and non-coffee suppliers, the work we do within the company to build a development strategy which is looking also at sustainability goals and is integrating sustainability goals into the daily work. And this helps me in telling you the third driver that also Davide, when he was telling about Tetra Pak's experience, made me think about, which is innovation. Many times, well, nowadays you cannot talk about innovations without talking about sustainability, and vice versa. Sustainability is about innovation, or I would say there's no innovation today without sustainability embedded in it. And innovation in our case is really also linked to the collaboration and cooperation with the other stakeholders. First of all, suppliers. My colleagues, and Davide especially, was talking about packaging. They do packaging, and we need packaging. Our work is to basically roast coffee and sell coffee, but to sell coffee we need packaging, So, and the main, as Davide was saying, the main goal of packaging until some years ago was to protect the food, and in our case, protect the aroma of coffee, the flavors and the perfumes of coffee. But nowadays we need to change a bit this vision to make the packaging also for coffee sustainable. And that's why in this, innovation was key for our sustainability strategy, because without all the investments in innovation, we couldn't issue our roadmap for sustainable packaging, which is our plan which is an innovation plan fundamentally, which will lead us to have all our packaging recyclable, reusable, or compostable by 2025. And to do this, I really want to underline this because it's really important for us, and those who work in sustainability departments know exactly what I'm saying. To do this, we need to collaborate with the other stakeholders, meaning the colleagues who design the products and the suppliers who needs to provide us with sustainable solution for our packaging. So this is just one example I want to give, but for everything, which is part of a sustainability strategy. Like, for example, we also have a commitment to become carbon neutral by 2030. But to do this, we need the collaboration and involvement of all the actors of the chain. Otherwise, you know, it's not possible. It's really a stakeholder work that we need to do all together. So to come back to your first question, the main drivers for me are commitment, long-term vision for your product, and innovation, for sure.
Of course, working for Plug and Play for us, innovation is so important. And when I read it in your metrics, I was like, oh, this is pretty incredible, because, but you can really also, it transpires from your words, where the sustainability, it's how sustainability is really driven by innovation. And at the same time, innovation has to be sustainable. So working in the same direction together, you know, contaminating, collaborating together, because this is another thing that I think stands on the basis of really driving innovation, is the collaboration. You three are for sure an example, because you're collaborating with so many excellent players, startups. So it's on the basis on your way to actually organize your work and move ahead into this sustainability path. But I want to go back to Davide. You know, innovation, I think, was super important to be driven in the past year during the pandemic. I think the pandemic has really hit hard on of course on our lives, but also in the way we were approaching to food, because food was the only thing that we could actually get. Going to a grocery was the only part that we could actually do. But at the same time, protecting, as again, as it's in your motto, was, I think, becoming always more and more important. You know, how we really had to make sure that not only, besides risking to waste food or also avoiding spoilage, but also to protect us by this new virus that we didn't know where it was. So I wanted to ask you, Davide, how has been, you know, Tetra Pak reacting and working, you know, during the past now 16 months, 18 months, to make sure that also protecting what's good was coming even more alive during such an incredible time?
Yeah, it's a long. It requires a long answer. Your question, actually, it's been an adventure how we took the journey when the pandemic started. We need to understand first what was happening to the planet, and that was basically the question of everyone, from our family to the biggest, the biggest environments, but. It took a while for Tetra Pak to start understanding that there was a new trend coming into the picture. We do many marketing researches every year, but this came very, very soon into the picture, that the world's population was becoming really aware and concerned about the food safety and about the availability to food. That was, if you remember, at the beginning of the pandemic, an issue. You remember the scene of the supermarkets where everyone was going and buying whatever. So we tried to understand what was happening, and we tried to get out the insights. And what came out was pretty clear and simple on the other side. Simple because it was clear that the pandemic element was becoming a top concern for consumers. So they wanted to be reassured, again, that the packaging was delivering good food, good quality food, and preserving the nutrients. But then second, what we saw is that sustainability was coming to become from the top list of concerns or elements of interest of consumer to the second. So the rate of importance of sustainability was still there, but at the same level. What came on top was only the pandemic story and element for consumers. So this gave us, again, power and force and the commitment forced to keep pushing on our sustainability agenda. At the same time, staying closer to our customers during the pandemic period, because we knew that it was, and we know it's still a difficult times for our customers. So what we did was, keep going on our sustainability agenda and sustainability strategy, staying closer to our customers, adapt to situations at market level. So even our market situation, our market companies started to have different and modular actions depending on the conditions that we're facing in the local markets. So all in all, I would say that we with agility, we adapted to the situation, but thanks to the strong values that we had already embedded in the company, we reacted quite quickly and positively. And I'm honored, I would say, to say that as a company, we performed quite well in these pandemic moments, even if it's been a tough moment for everyone. Again, with a lot of collaboration, what Veronica was mentioning before, I mean, this circular and sustainable concept is really becoming a philosophy. So we need to sustain each other in this moment. We need to innovate, and doing that, sustain each other in this moment. If we innovate for ourselves, it's gonna be, a rocket in the sky, and then it will disappear. No benefit real for everyone. And now we are in a planet where we all need to collaborate, even in pandemic period. So staying closer, it was probably the best thing we did in this, and we are doing in this period.
Thank you, Davide. And, we've been talking a lot about circularity, about innovation, and I cannot close this panel without asking a question or two regarding product innovation. And what I wanted to ask is, how is the Tetra Pak looking at alternatives dairies, especially for you guys? What do you think is the future in this space?
Very, very, very good question, because there is a lot of debate about these new technologies. First of all, I have to say we are completely open to these new technologies. But I want to disclose a bit what we discuss in the corridors, because of course there are those ones that are always open to any type of innovation and they embrace anything, and those ones that are saying, oh well, Tetra Pak is making business from 60 years, 70 years on milk, on very, very classic products. And now we are exploring in new categories already. So why should we go so far away from what we do? So there are always these, polarized positions, but it's good to have, because at the same time, what is coming out is that in reality, our mindset is open for these new things. Is always been challenging any food waste situation. It's been always towards providing good food of good quality everywhere and for everyone. So if these innovations are bringing a real benefit from nutrients point of view, from delivering food in every part of the planet, really addressing real consumer needs for the good of the population, then we are completely embracing the innovation. Of course, with the strong values that I was mentioning before in our minds. So we have some undisputable requirements on sustainability. So these new even laboratory made products shall be sustainable. So it's not a laboratory that is delivering the final product, it's the scalability, is the industrialization, is how then consumers react to this and how this product will be packed from our perspective. So we need to put everything under the planet scope and see if it works in a circular economy model. If it works in a circular economy model, then it's a good innovation, I believe.
Absolutely. And we're very curious to see what is going to happen in this space. But we've talked about alternative dairies. And Federico, what about alternative meat and alternative proteins in a broader sense? Meat, fish, they're all getting disrupted and breakthrough innovations are coming along. How is Esselunga reacting?
Well, the challenge of alternative proteins is already underway, and we now have some products on our shelves. We actually have a precise section of our fresh shelves that is dedicated to alternative proteins. Esselunga has always leveraged on innovation for both growth and development. We are careful to embrace new market trends and opportunities. For instance, 2 years ago, we took up the challenge of entering plug and play, which has become another asset in our innovation strategy and gives us the opportunity to meet young companies, pick up on new trends, and experiment with new solutions. One of our priorities is, in fact, to keep up with our customer needs by offering them new products through a daily review of our recipes and, of course, by giving priority always to food quality and to food safety.
Veronica, I would love to welcome you again. And I have a question for you. I want to close with some good news, because I was reading your report, and what struck me was the fact that you actually added 4 good news. So what have you guys talked, within your sustainability report about? What were these good news?
Well, first of all, I would say that the good news today is that the bars are open again, cafeterias are open again. So I think this is a very good news for all the industry and for all of us who love coffee. I guess everybody's happy to go back to their beloved cafeterias all over the world to take their coffee. So I think that it's really important in talking about sustainability reports to not just, reporting how you are progressing on your goals and on your commitments, but it's also really important to tell the stories of the people who are behind your actions and behind your walls in some way. So what we do in our sustainability report, as I was saying at the beginning, is to try to report how we are advancing on the 4 goals, which I was mentioning before, our sustainability priorities, goal 8, 5, 12, and 13. And what we try to do to make the report also, a nice object to read and to enjoy, is also telling the stories of people. So in all the reports of Lavazza, you will find at least one story of one farmer who is benefiting from the project of Lavazza Foundation. We always, for example, interview our people within the company. There is, in the new reports that we will issue in July, which is the report about 2020, we interviewed all the colleagues of the industrial plants who were working during the pandemic crisis. And it was interesting to see and to listen to their pride of being part of a company who needed to be, working quite hard during the crisis. And it was also interesting to see how they were proud to be part of some innovative projects. As you are very focused on innovation, we opened in 2020 our it's called 1895 factory, which is a small factory within the Lavazza plant, focusing just on specialty coffees. It's a very small factory, and there some of the people who were working in the industrial plants were selected. The best ones were selected and were engaged in the design of the new factory. They were engaged in the development of the new factory, and so they felt the pride of being there. So I think the good news we should take with us in this new rebirth of the country, we are in Italy, and in the whole world after the pandemic, is really to, again, the value of work, the value of collaboration, and the value of really bringing the sustainability story at all levels, from the employees to the environmental commitments to the community commitments. It's really important for the rebirth of our world to really, again, work together, collaborate, and bringing the sustainability story at the heart of every action we do.
Thank you very much, Veronica. I like how to keep, this happy note also on such an important report. as the sustainability report. I would like to thank all of you, Veronica, Davide, and Federico. I think has been a very interesting, especially from my side for sure, conversation. I loved what you guys are doing to work and to make sure that, let me just take the keywords of Tetra Pak, so people, food, and planet, at the heart of your work every day. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed it. And we're now going to move into the next part of today's session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Arianna.
And we are now moving into the first fireside chat of the day of our Food and Beverage Expo. And I would like to welcome on stage Paolo Scarabelli, Automation and Digital Innovation and Partnership Manager at Tetra Pak. So with Paolo, we are going to look into what is going to be the outlook for the manufacturing plant of the future. But Paolo, before we get started, can you please introduce yourself?
Ciao Arianna, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. It's a pleasure. This is an area where, I spent, many years of my career, 30 plus years in Tetra Pak, working, very much with, solution for the manufacturing industry, as Tetra Pak is a major provider in this. I'm covering, today the role of innovation manager into the automation and digital technology as a part of our central R&D function, and very pleased to talk about technology and future outlook for manufacturing kind of application.
Thanks, Paolo. Well, manufacturing plants are rapidly evolving, and the workforce is being equipped with an increasingly innovative and effective tools. While keeping safety as a main priority, productivity is also being enhanced by the modern technologies. In this session, I would really like to deep dive with you in Tetra Pak, which are the trends and technology that you think are going to impact in the upcoming 5 to 10 years. So let's start with the first question of today. And what are the technology that are affecting this space?
Technologies has been, from basically, many stages of evolution on human being on this planet, fundamental element, to support, growth. And manufacturing from, the first industrial revolution has been, fundamentally, developed and enhanced by technology. And technology will continue to change, especially the manufacturing operation, if you want, many other aspects of our life, but particularly, where there is, kind of transformation for human and so on, as manufacturing of food is about, technologies as and will play a key role. What are the technology for the future? I think, manufacturing will follow, many of the other trends that we see in technology in other sectors and so on. And, the area of automation and digital technology will be more and more in focus in the future. So among these areas, you could imagine, future in manufacturing where machines are becoming more and more autonomous. And in order to reach this point, there are fundamental enablers. So more and more sophisticated control. Today the trend is really to build control application on the concept of data. So different than, the traditional control approaches and so on, where you have, the classical algorithm. Now you put on top of this one, data, and artificial intelligence is becoming, fundamental element, which will change the way that we, develop and allow our customer, to use their machine in the future. So AI is a big one, but, AI is coming as natural evolution in digital or many other technologies. So, how, data are generated is very much also a question of advanced sensing technologies, which allow really to be more and more accurate, have more and more insight around the physics of things, and how data move across the infrastructure. So, the manufacturing of today, if you look in Industry 4.0 and more, the one in the future are interconnected system. So, the IoT technologies and data, generating one side and used, in the back offices, to deliver new services and develop, better machine are key. Then, there are other set of technology which are, very much into the engineering part of the machinery. So the usage of more and more advanced mechatronic solution, to allow, the combination of flexibility and high throughput and reliability, will allow us to take machine to the next step of functionality. Robotics is coming very strongly in many fields and also in manufacturing. And we are talking more and more of collaborative robotics technology where, human and machine are cooperating in a new paradigm altogether. So these are some of the elements, but we need to also think not only, how to make better machine, but to make it, more and more efficient, in also through the engineering life cycle management. So all this data set is bringing new paradigm also into the engineering concept where, digital twins are more and more, one of the new, I would say, digital engineering focus areas we want to put more and more in action. Meaning, we develop natively, with a multidisciplinary concept, and digital is built as a representation and intimate correspondence of the physical asset. So this is going to boost up, many of the innovation as a methodology.
And Paolo, how is the Tetra Pak structured to insert, intercept, and really exploit such innovations? How do you see the role of open innovation in this landscape, for instance?
To evolve in such a dynamic, evolution that we have is taking place nowadays is complex. It's complex for, many companies, especially if you're coming, from an history where it's been, very successful and you have established, defined methodologies. So, adapting and adopting, this new technology is not an easy exercise. And, one of the areas that we have identified, instrumental is really to expose, part of our population, to a larger ecosystem. So we realize more and more that we need to do it, this kind of evolution with others. So the innovation element, which is fundamental now, is really to work with a larger ecosystem of contributors in this one, where the methodology of open innovation is instrumental in this. And why? Because, the speed is so fast, because the changes are impacting so high that, you need to use that capabilities. And we need to develop our people. So exploration, which are fundamental element of open innovation methodologies, is where we want to put, our people more and more exposed to that kind of capabilities, and work with others, and collaborate with others across also industries. Because, it's not only a question to take the technology and apply per se. You need really to understand that technology, as you learn to adopt it and use it, deliver the value that the customer expects. And that one is possible in many cases to leverage also an experience of others, especially when we have such a new technology. So open innovation, how we work with ecosystem, the role of entities such as, startup, accelerator, playing a key role, universities, the classical supplier in which we have B2B relationship, to remesh everything into the open innovation ecosystem is really the key.
You just mentioned that the fact that you are looking to other industries also. And, this concept of really cross-contamination is so key to open innovation. And is there a specific industry you're looking at in this regard?
There are few, I would say, but there is probably, as I mentioned before, the future of manufacturing is very much connected to machine autonomy, meaning, every part of the manufacturing process having, the capability really to adapt, to change, to maintain, performance, secure quality output, and, change quickly configuration of things. And, autonomy today is driven by, some industry very, very strongly. And if you're looking, for example, the automotive industry, the car, as such, it will be more and more evident that it will be the next generation of computer which move, in every part of our life, that areas is teaching many other industrial sectors. Not only for the cars as such, which would be an autonomous system, very challenging to go, in a non-structured environment as, car is moving and operating, but also, the automotive is looking at these technologies in their manufacturing plants, which is, one key reference in the industry in terms of manufacturing assets. And even there, there will be more and more, autonomous systems which are taken into operation. This is one, but there are other, sectors, take, the medical sector and so on, where you want to diagnose and develop things, more and more accurately, more and more efficiently, and lowering the some of these costs is also one sector. There is, another very interesting one on how, you make synthetic, development of materials using, digital twins, to develop your molecules and then to manufacture. So there are 2-3 of these which are, very good proxy of things.
This is really interesting, Paolo. Thank you for sharing this. And one last question before we actually close for the first Fireside chat of today. How do you think, and what will be the manufacturing plant of the future? So we have been talking, about autonomous driving. We have been talking about robots, mechatronics. Which are the technologies that you're going to see really coming into the plants in Tetra Pak?
What we envisage in terms of, manufacturing plant is really, by the definition of a keyword, which we have used, in terms of, dreaming or hypothesizing, several times, probably at a certain stage, not take it very seriously, but I think now we have many evidence that this is going to happen. And this is the concept of lights out factory, meaning tomorrow, manufacturing assets which are, very much manned by machines, and, people are more and more covering the role of supervisory kind of application, and, have many of the operations that human eventually still remain to do very much supported by, guiding system, supporting system in order to automate more and more the processes and support human when there are, critical, changes into the business operation, into the product to be delivered, into the quality to be secured. So lights out factory is really the outlook that we are aiming more and more. And, autonomous system in terms of pieces of manufacturing which cooperate autonomously is really, one of the stages to reach this future. Lights out factory, it already exists today in some sectors. If you're looking at also the World Economic Forum, every year is prizing, manufacturing operation companies which lead into this one. Because at the end of the day, is making things, more and more effective, on this planet. And we know, for example, manufacturing of food is something which need to follow the growth of the population on this planet, meaning need to become more and more efficient. So there are sectors today, if you go into the electronics, manufacturing, there are companies there which already have in place lights out factory. With food, we are probably, stages behind that, but, these kind of industry are really proxy for us, meaning, if someone has done it, we can do it as well.
Thank you so much, Paolo, for the session. I will now pass the mic to Gianluca, who's gonna welcome the startups.
Hello, everyone. This is Gianluca Trentin, Account and Community Manager of our Plug and Play Italy. So first of all, thank you very much, Arianna and Paolo, for this very insightful session on the future of manufacturing according to Tetra Pak. Now we are moving into the startup pitching, and you'll be hearing from 10 startups, all part of our food and beverage batch 2021 from Plug and Play Italy. So the first area that we're going to cover is supply chain manufacturing. But before moving there, let's say very quickly the rule of the house. Every single startup has 4 minutes to pitch, and all the participants can actually vote for their favorite startup via the poll that you will be seeing on the right side of your screen. So after each startup, you will be seeing a poll popping up in the chat via the chat of Open. So please use that tool in order to vote for your favorite startup and also to register your interest. The first area, as I said, is supply chain and manufacturing. And the first startup that we are going to call on stage is Kiinns. Kiinns is presented by Twika, based in Israel. Please, Twika, the floor is yours.
Hello, Plug and Play Summer Summit. I'm Zvika Furman, the co-founder and CEO of Kiinns. We are a food safety startup eliminating contamination from food production lines. I would like to talk to you today about one process in the food industry. It's a process that is done every day in every production line worldwide. It's a process that is the source of food safety risks. It harms the environment. It wastes time and money for food producers. So I'm sure that if food producers had the alternative, they would just kick this process out the door. And I'm talking about cleaning processes that take place every day in every food production line throughout the world. So why is cleaning a food safety risk? The FDA states that 1 in 3 food recalls actually starts in the cleaning and sanitation processes and recommends to evaluate the effectiveness of all cleaning methods. Now, why do they say that? They say it because they know that bacteria get immune to cleaning and can be found on the equipment even after cleaning. They say it because they know that even tiny portions of allergens that weren't cleaned good enough can hurt the consumer, and also because cleaning materials themselves can be found in the food that we eat. And the outcome is that so many people around the world every year get sick, hospitalized, and even die due to foodborne diseases. And a major portion of it starts with non-efficient cleaning processes. Then there's the environmental impact. Cleaning just harms the environment. Do you know how much water is wasted every year in cleaning processes? It's billions of liters every day, every year. And all the chemicals and detergents that pollute the environment. And if you're not yet convinced that cleaning is bad, let's talk about money. Cleaning costs a lot of money with the manpower, the resources, but mainly with the machine idle time. That's the time when the machines are not producing food and have to stop for many hours to be cleaned. So now we understand that cleaning is a food safety risk. It's a huge environmental impact and it's very expensive. This is very sad, but there is light in the end of the tunnel. What if I told you that cleaning could just be eliminated? I would like to introduce you to Kiinns, the world's first system that eliminates cleaning. And I'm not talking about a more efficient cleaning or a different cleaning. I'm talking about no cleaning at all. Kiinns is a food isolation technology. It's patent pending. It includes a polymer and a robotic system. Kiinns is all about isolating the equipment surface from getting in contact with the processed food. We do this by shielding the equipment with a unique polymer that we are developing. So when the food is processed, it never touches the equipment. And when the food finishes its processing and is taken out of the equipment, we remove the polymer automatically and the magic happens. No cleaning is required. And as the equipment surface stays clean, the next time we start food production, we put a new layer of polymer cover on the equipment. But how do we implement the polymer into the equipment? We are developing an autonomous robotic system that will be located on the production floor. And before a food processing activity starts, the robotic system will move towards the equipment. It will scan it and acquire its geometry. And then, and this is the core of our technology, it will spray our uniquely developed polymer covering every surface of the equipment. Our technology fits any geometry and any equipment. And I would like to talk to you now about our benefits. We maximize food safety and hygiene. We eliminate contamination from food production line because every food processing cycle starts fresh. We save the environment, as no cleaning means no water waste, no pollution by chemicals, and our solution is fully biodegradable. And the best thing is that we actually cut up to 70% of the cleaning costs for food producers. And in a post-COVID-19 world where hygiene and sanitation and automation in production lines and cost reductions are so important, Kiinns benefits are more critical than ever. 2 words about our business model. Our business model is very simple. We sell one robotic system, and then we sell continuously our unique disposable polymer. Our competition is what happens today in food production lines, where you can find green cleaning materials or easy to clean equipment. But Kiinns is the only company eliminating cleaning altogether, which is why only we can solve holistically the issues of food safety, of environment, and of costs. Our addressable market is huge. It's over $60 billion, with target customers being food producers of all industry segments and food and beverage companies. So here's the team. Ehud and I actually started Kiinns when we were frustrated that we had to clean kitchen equipment at home. Having a lot of technology experience, we connected to people from the food and polymers industries to build a strong team that can deliver such a challenge solution. I want to tell you about some milestones that the company made. First, I want to tell you that we were just selected to the FoodTech 500 list, the top 500 startup and scale-up companies shaping the future of food. It's a big honor for us. We raised $400,000 in funding. We have been in several accelerators. We won FoodTech competitions. We are now in an ongoing development phase post-POC. And most important is that we raised vast interest from the food industry, including LOIs we received from some of the biggest multinationals. Today, we are looking for strategic partnerships within the food industry, for design partners, and also for funding. I was happy to introduce Kiinns to you today with our cutting-edge technology and the revolution that Kiinns is bringing to the food industry. I'll be happy to talk to you all. My details are right here. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Zvika, for the presentation. Is aryballe, and aryballe is going to be presented by Tobias. Tobias, calling from France, please, the floor is yours.
Hello, this is Tobias of aryballe, and I'm happy to meet you here at the Plug and Play Summit. At aryballe, we like to say that we are in the business to deliver the fifth sense, the sense of smell. Our business is based on digital olfaction, transferring a subjective human function to an objective approach of odor analysis, where we capture, digitize, and analyze odors in a way that serve our customers. Or in other words, our hardware-enabled software and dataware products are helping organizations unlock the power of odor data to transform it into meaningful business insights as driver for actions. Our focus on hardware-enabled software and dataware solutions has allowed us to address a wide range of applications. Our technology is sensitive and reliable enough for quality control applications in the food, flavor, and fragrance industry. And on the other hand, we can serve high-volume, cost-sensitive markets like automotive and consumer appliances. Exemplary, aryballe's technology can help odor assessment through the food value chain from production to transport to the end user storing and preparing food. And coming from the theory, I would then demonstrate how a measurement looks like in real time. In this video demonstration, you see aryballe's technology operating. We take measurements against a clean air baseline and run smell detection based on a preloaded database. When exposed to the respective VOCs, the system smells subsequently the odors of pine and blue, cut grass in pink, citrus in black, and rose in green, and displays the found olfactive signatures in the lower left in superposing manner to allow discrimination of the different VOCs. At the same time, it's displaying through a PCA the discrimination of the different VOCs as well from each other, but also simultaneously the proximity of a measurement to other measurements of the same VOC. This precise information allows educated customer decisions as said in the beginning of the session. And as example, objective odor data allows quality organizations to set odor standards that can be easily followed and applied by 24/7 manufacturing. And in a more broken down way, understanding the distance from pure limonene, a common ingredient used for ingredient activation on lemon smell, that is acceptable by its particular function in the end product, allows quality organizations to set different thresholds of acceptability for incoming materials. allowing you to leverage the complete ingredient stock without sacrificing product or ingredient quality. To enable access to such data, we have developed our just market launched Neurons Advanced, paired with software and data web products as easy-to-use solutions. Further, we are working on a version of our sensor, the core sensor, in conjunction with cloud-based API, allowing the integration of the same technology directly in customer applications, being available from early 2022. To close, a few words about aryballe. Born in 2014, well-funded and carrying more than 30 years of combined semiconductor experience, we are developing our global footprint from Grenoble headquarters with a steadily increasing number of employees and granted patents to serve our partners and customers. Being recognized for the performance and promise, we are looking forward to engage also with you as visitors of the Plug and Play Summit today. Please also visit us on LinkedIn, where we share frequently about the digital olfaction space. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Tobias, for your pitch. Now we are calling the next company, and the next company is actually Provenance. Provenance is presented by Jesse, based in the UK. Please, Jesse, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jesse. I'm the founder and CEO at Provenance. So behind every product is a story that matters. Every single product has an impact on people and planet. And today, in opaque supply chains behind our consumer products, exploitation of people and planet thrives. Today, we mostly buy products based on things like the price, the function, and the looks. But what about if we could buy a product based on its impact, based on actually how it impacts people and planet? We are seeing businesses increasingly investing in sustainability and social impact in their HQs and in their supply chain. But currently that information is hidden in B2B supply chain tools, sustainability reports, or PDFs, or information silos that sit inside the business. And on the other side, we're seeing a growing market of people that want to buy products that have a positive impact on people and planet. In the UK, 79% of consumers are changing their purchase preferences based on sustainability. So we see a disconnect with all the great work being done by businesses in their supply chains and the reality of consumers wanting to know more about that information. And this is where Provenance comes in, is to connect the two. We exist to connect businesses and citizens to enable a future where the most valuable brands have the most positive impact on people and planet. We enable brands to share information, opening up through our framework, which enables that information to be consistent, comprehensive, and credible. And that empowers citizens to know the impact of products and drives further investment from brands into more positive impact. So in a nutshell, the Provenance platform enables brands, purposeful brands, to build trust through technology-powered transparency. Our SaaS platform powers supply chain and impact transparency for FMCG brands and retailers. Now, the bedrock of our SaaS platform is what we call the Transparency Framework, which is an open source standard for transparency to stop greenwash risks. It's really a rule book for brands to communicate in a comprehensive, consistent, and credible way about the impacts of their products. And it's benchmarked to international standards and co-developed with a panel of industry experts. Now, this enables our SaaS platform to really enable brands to be transparent in the best possible way, easily helping them manage the information on their product sourcing and impact. We then enable brands to publish this information, to get this data in front of the consumers that want to know more about products. And we do so through our modular publishing approach, through things like proof points, stories, profiles and network maps, and even product journeys showing the full story behind the product. We can then enable that information to be made accessible through multiple brand channels, whether that's an off-pack experience, through the brand's website, through social media campaigns, and also through e-commerce. And every single piece of Provenance transparency not only comes with the information you can see, but it also comes with the depth. So you can see the evidence and third-party verification that sits behind each proof point a brand is making about its product. And all of those proof points are stored securely on a public blockchain, so no one can screw around with your impact proof. The final bit of our SaaS platform is a way for customers to be able to see insights and analytics on their sustainability communications. So you can see exactly how your customers are engaging with your content. We have been leading the supply chain and impact transparency space now, and we've just assembled the best team possible to do that with backgrounds in supply chain, marketing, and tech. We're serving over 100 customers and are a certified B Corp, being a mission-driven independent organization. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Jesse, for the great presentation. Now it's the time for the next company, which is called Xylene. Xylene is presented by Christopher, based in Germany. So please, Christopher, I will leave the mic to you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Edwards, and I'm one of the founders of Xylene. We are a space tech company, and we found a great application for satellite data and blockchain to help you build a more transparent and trustworthy supply chain. Our team consists of two founders, Giuseppe Beninati and myself, and we were selected as one of their top 10 startups from the European Space Agency in 2020, and also were the winners of the 2019 Galileo Masters. Xylene focuses on the problem of opaque supply chains and the question, where do our products really come from? And all of us as consumers are driving this through enhanced awareness of where products are coming from. But also governments and regulators are taking this topic up and introducing new rules and regulations that are forcing companies to take more responsibility for what is happening in their supply chain. And this is where the challenge lies. Because supply chains are opaque, they have limited transparency, and the visibility is the missing link. This is where Xylene comes in with our solution that reinvents the way products are being seen and provides them a digital and sustainable life. And we do this by connecting the three pillars of people, products, and industry within the supply chain to create traceability, a sustainable awareness of the company and the products, and build an added value and a competitive advantage, but also bringing in a circular approach for production and the products themselves. Xylene has developed a smart data gathering solution combined with efficient management, where our customers can use the web dashboard to manage information in the supply chain, while their suppliers use our mobile application to collect information in the processing steps and create digital twins of the product in a very easy to implement fashion, creating accessible transparency for internal decision-making and external communication, and also supporting compliance and sustainability claims. Built on accurate and secure data, we can also drive this analysis further and include carbon footprint traceability. But Xylene doesn't just track any information. When suppliers gather information in their processing steps, we use Earth observation images, georeferencing, and timestamping to create a verification of the information that is being collected in the supply chain steps. And this we store on the blockchain that helps us build a secure and authentic record of the chain of custody, having a verified and secure information in the system. How you can get started with us? In 6 to 9 months, we can go through a pilot project that identifies the proof of origin of your products or supports sustainability claims. We go through a 5-step process defining, onboarding, tracking, engaging, and measuring the information that you want to trace and verify in the supply chain. We work with selected supply chains and provide customized support. So give it a go, contact us, and start your transparency journey now. See for yourself, we've traced Ethiopian wild coffee and Sicilian olive oil for authenticity. Get in touch with us. I look forward to meeting you.
Thank you very much, Christopher, for the great pitch. And now I would like to introduce you to another company, which is called O.F.F.I.C.E. And this company is presented by another Christoph, again from Germany. We like to invite Christopher from Germany in our event. So I will let the floor to Christopher to present this very particular company, which will surprise you a lot. Please, Christoph, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hi. I mean, it's great being here. I love Italy. I don't need an excuse to come to Italy. It's so great here. I really like it. Anyway, why am I here? The future of work. Some of you might know me as the pitch doctor. I help startups and corporate entrepreneurs pitch better, but that's not why I'm here today. Today I'm here because I have my own amazing, very, very stealth startup, and I want to talk to you about it. Here's the thing. Human beings were hunters and gatherers and, of course, cavefluencers, right? But then one day somebody said, this hunting and gathering, that looks stressful. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm now a consultant. And that way, the first knowledge worker was born. And as that knowledge worker, this person had to decide where to work, because everybody was hunting and gathering and cavefluencing outside. But this person said, nah, where am I going to work? I'm going to work where I sleep. I'm going to work from home. And ever since then, human beings have always worked from home, from their own apartments, houses, or whatever. And working from home is great. For the most part. Not if there's a pandemic and there's no childcare and your kids are like my kids. Then it's not that great. But generally, working from home is great. Or is it? Because that's the question my startup asks. So here's the problem that we see. When you work from home, this is roughly what your day looks like. And when you check it out, you realize that is way too efficient. It gives people the dreaded work-life balance. You have time for friends and for your hobbies and all of that stuff. So working from home, people are happy, they're relaxed, and they're fit. And we don't like that. But we have a solution for the problem, and we call it office. The office is a place you go to just to work every day. And all your colleagues will be there too, all at the same time. I know it sounds insane, right? Because you've always worked from home and you're like, why would I go to a specific place just to work from there? But hear me out, okay? So first of all, this is what office will look like from the outside, okay? Roughly, to give you an idea. And now let's look at what are the problems that office solves for you. So working from home, the first problem is it's just too damn pleasant working from home. And we changed that because an office is not going to be that pleasant. Also, at home, you have nice carpets, wooden floors, not a problem anymore. We solved the problem. We have this carpet in every single office, and it's going to be amazing. Also, at home, you have your own bathroom. No more a problem, because in the office, we'll have this, and you know exactly what your colleagues are up to. Also at home, you can make these beautiful coffees, a nice cappuccino, of course, only before 11 a.m., right? But not a problem anymore. In the office, you'll be drinking this and you will like it. Also at home, you make these beautiful, healthy meals for yourself. Well, also that problem, we're solving it because you'll be eating this and it's going to be good for you. Also at home, you have a huge problem because you're uninterrupted. You have total focus the entire time. But don't worry, we solved this. In the office, all your colleagues are there all the time to interrupt you whenever you're getting into the flow of actual working. And then you have the problem that after working from home, you still have this time left. So you meet friends and you have dinner parties and all of that. Yeah, no more a problem. We will substitute what we call office parties for that, where you're partying with people you don't actually like. Now, this is our standard feature set, and I think you already realize it's pretty amazing, but we have a killer feature. Let me introduce to you something that you have never heard of before. We call it the commute. The commute is absolutely life-changing. So here's your morning right now, right? You get up, you work out a little bit, you shower, you do some wellness, and then you just sit down like a minute before your first call, and you don't even have to wear pants. So that's your morning right now. But we substitute something that's way better than that. And that is sitting in your car for a long time. And yes, everybody will be going to the office at the same time, so this is even better. Now, the thing is, when the office is somewhere else, you have to get there. So car, great. But if you prefer public transport, we have this feature in public transport as well. And I mean, the attention to detail of my team developing this product, I'm really, really proud of. So that's our killer feature. But we have more because we have a killer feature. Let me introduce to you something that you've also never heard of before, and that is called the meeting. Now, what is a meeting? A meeting is like a Zoom call, but where all participants are in the same room, physically the same room, so you can smell all of your colleagues. Sounds crazy, but this is what it will look like. And everybody's going to be in the same room. And why do we do this? Why do we have this killer feature? Well, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to increase time expended and decrease results achieved, okay? And the meeting is the way we do it. Now, let me explain to you how this will work. Everything that used to be a Zoom call is now going to be a meeting when you use the Office. Also, every email is going to be a meeting. Every Slack message is going to be a meeting. Every phone call is going to be a meeting. Everything is now going to be a meeting, and that's exactly what we want. Here's a little overview of the benefits of working from home versus working from an office. And this is just the start because I think meetings, that's the killer feature. Now, you're probably saying, but are people going to accept this? I mean, it sounds like a great innovation, but it's such a change from what we've always done, right? We've always worked from home. So are people going to be willing to change? So we have a couple of features built in that will make sure that it's not that big of a step. What do I mean by that? Well, we will have certain rules in place in an office that will make it feel like you're still working from home. So for example, the dress code is going to be exactly the same in the office. Also, the equipment in the office will allow you to do the things during the workday that you've always done at home during your workday. And even the things you're used to doing in calls, you can now do in meetings. And I think that will make it a lot easier for people to adapt to this new world of working from an office. Here's a little comparison. So that was your day working from home, and you see all this time for like sleep and hobbies and that kind of stuff. Well, we solve all of that. This is the day what it will be like when you work from an office. So instead of the dreaded work-life balance, you will basically get meetings, and more meetings, which is great because we achieve what we set out to achieve, right? People aren't going to be happy anymore, but angry. They're not going to be relaxed anymore, but really tired, and they're not going to be fit anymore. They're going to be out of shape. And that's exactly what we want, right? Now, we have different products for different target audiences. So for example, for corporates, we have our Wall Street edition. For startups, we have our Brooklyn edition. And for really boring companies, we have our Omaha, Nebraska edition. And then for really special occasions, we have an edition that we call the Four Seasons Total Landscaping edition, okay? Now, the most important thing for any startup is we have a great team, and we also have a cool gimmick. Because you know how Google calls their people Googlers? Well, what we have is even better. Because our company is called Office, we call ourselves officers. So we have our Chief Oval Officer here, we have me, the Chief Executive Officer, and we have our Creative Financing Officer as well. We also have amazing marketing planned. For example, there will be a TV show. There will be a TV show that will be even called Office, which we think is really great because it's going to establish that name that we came up with. So we have a low budget option there that we're talking about, but we also have a full budget option that we think would be even better. Now, we think that with this startup, we can really have a global impact. Because if you look at an image of, let's say, New York City right now, I mean, it's nice, but imagine what it could look like if there's offices everywhere. And that's where we're going. But we have an even bigger vision. And I've recently talked to a good buddy of mine about how we could do it. And we've basically agreed on doing a joint venture that we call O.F.F.I.C.E. And that will make sure that when we get to Mars, there will be Office up there. We already have our first customer, this guy. He's super excited about what we're planning. And if you followed the news recently, I mean, his company is super excited about trying out our product. We did build a little bit of like a special deal for them. It's a little different than what most other people are going to try out because this company has a lot of money. So they were like, hey, let's try this Office thing out. Let's do it like full blast, build an amazing thing there. So that's going to be pretty cool. But for you, and this is the important thing, I really hope that after my pitch, you want to try out O.F.F.I.C.E because it sounds to you hopefully like a great idea. Also, I think, or hopefully, you're willing to give it a try to not work at home like you've always done it your entire life. And I'm pretty optimistic and hopeful that we will soon be able to launch around the globe. I hope that happens very, very soon. And if it happens, I hope you will give it a try. So with that, I would like to thank you. If you want to get in touch about O.F.F.I.C.E, add me on LinkedIn. Let me know. What do you think about it? If you try it out, if you've maybe even already tried it out in one of our beta locations, then please let me know. It would be great to welcome the plug and play community into an office very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christoph, for the great presentation. Indeed, everyone will agree with me that that's definitely a breakthrough idea, and all of us would like to adopt it. So really, please be tuned with Christoph to see the future release of this great company and great idea. So we are now going into a break. Let's tune in back in 10 minutes. Thank you, everyone, and see you later.
Welcome back from the break. I hope you enjoyed the little video we prepared for you, and also the pitch of the last startup that we had just prior to the break. It's now time to invite on stage the next speaker for today's session, and I would like to welcome Fabio Fiorelli, Packaging Purchasing Manager at Esselunga. As we've heard in the Sustainability Roundtable, we heard a lot talking about the importance of packaging and how this makes one of the new pillars for Esselunga. But I would like to invite Fabio to talk a little bit more about the future of packaging for the company and how do they see them actually evolving in the years ahead. Fabio, the stage is yours.
Hi, Arianna, and good afternoon to everyone. You have a good question. We'll try to answer. Esselunga's sustainability strategy stands on 5 pillars: clients, employees, supplier, community, and environment. Focusing on environment, our primary goals are the waste reduction, the cut of CO2 emission up to 35% by 2025, and the constant search for a new sustainable packaging. One example, over the last 20 years, Esselunga introduced the 2 million reusable and washable cases in internal circuits instead of single-use secondary packaging. It is crucial to remake how Esselunga balances the delicate relationship between packaging and foods. The company's sustainable packaging strategy is meant to reduce, recycle, and replace the plastic, as well as to limit the use of the over-packaging. At the same time, Esselunga wants to guarantee a high food security standard and appropriate shelf life for its product, and want to reduce any potential waste. By 2025, the company goal is to ensure that 100% of Esselunga private label item packaging is made of compostable, recyclable, or recycled material. To pursue these goals, Esselunga engaged its upstream supplier and their downstream consumers using a scientific approach, also supported by the life cycle assessment method. Esselunga every day evaluated the impact of its choices with the same indicator, such as plastic and water consumption, the CO2 emission, and the circularity of the materials. In the last year, the company introduced a new tailor-made software, the Toolpack, in which we can review all parameters mentioned above, and it is useful to identify the packaging to work on in the next year. Packaging today is used of channel of communication with the consumer, and over the time, a lot of new information were printed on, such as advisor over the correct waste, disposable, and life cycle assessment tips. The use of innovative and sustainable packaging affects the sales of product, generating advantages for the reputation and communication of Esselunga. The diversity of food ingredients makes us work hard to identify a suitable packaging solution for each product category. It is therefore essential to adopt the design for packaging policies to facilitate the choices of the best food packaging combination. And which is the future? In the future for Esselunga goals is the reduction of non-recyclable packaging plastic in favor to recyclable and recycled one, the reduce of packaging thicknesses, and the replacement of plastic packaging with carbon where it's possible or other material. But yet it is more important to underline that some characteristic of plastic material cannot be replaced by carbon or compostable plastic. That is impossible to eliminate the plastic all around the world, but is possible to use a responsible use of plastic. This is the way. Important developer, for example, for reduction the non-recyclable plastic are the chemical and mechanical recycling, such as expanded polystyrene, which are transformed in new food-grade virgin raw material. For example, in Italy, the production of this material for trays with recycled contents is in the final stage, but only with the chemical recycle will it be possible to fully recycle the food-grade material. The collaboration between the public and the private institutes is essential for a sustainable, decisive development of the sector. Now, I want to share with you an overview of a few projects Esselunga working on in this year. The fruit and vegetable bio are going plastic-free. Started in 2017, the company commitment of this project is to replace standard packaging and labels with compostable material, decreasing 137 tons the annual plastic consumption. This kind of packaging restyling have been extended to the other product line, like eggs, for example, in which the plastic was abandoned in favor of a wood pulp container. Entirely recyclable, there is in 1 year 15 million of pieces. Another example of innovative redesigned packaging in Esselunga is the fresh milk bio. We replaced the plastic bottle in favor to the Tetra bio-based carton made with 100 vegetable raw material origin. This project shows also Esselunga effort to make the consumer more conscious about the product they buy. Detailed information about the packaging choices have been printed on the front of the milk carton, and through a QR code, it is possible to understand the method applied. This action led an additional 20 tons of plastic saved in 2019. This is a transparency operation for the consumer. Last but not least, with the significant impact of the plastic reduction, we must talk about Esselunga's private label water. For these items, there has been the introduction of a new transparent bottle made with 15% of recycled plastic. With this action, the companies reduced the amount of virgin PET placed on the market by 100 tons each year. Esselunga also equipped a few stores with eco-compactor in order to encourage the waste collection. More than 525,000 bottles, equivalent to 12 tons of plastic, have been collected since 2019. All these innovations I talked about are printed, highlighted, and on the packaging and certified by the third parties, increasing customer loyalty toward the brand and therefore the Esselunga reputation. In order to increase the customer experience and educate the consumer of how to recycle properly, Esselunga, in collaboration with the Italian startup, developed the Butta Bene project, currently being tested, which in app, it allows the customer to read the EN code printed on the packaging and receive information of its disposal. depending on place where you are. Concluding my speech with the summary of the future challenge of the community will be, is necessary to have a clear and shared European legislation for the recyclability of materials. The ability to innovate or produce and retail by implementing a new solution, including experimental one, and educate the consumers on correct domestic recycling through awareness campaign and clear information on back. The collaboration between Esselunga and Plug and Play allows us to accelerate the meeting between need and offer of a new packaging materials. It helps us to reach our strategic 2025 objectives, which a view all over the world. I leave you with a quote from our founder: "There is no tomorrow with the system we used yesterday." Thanks to Arianna and Plug and Play for the opportunity to speak in this session and for the support to the great challenges we are facing.
Thank you so much, Fabio, for sharing with us the future of packaging for Esselunga. And I love how you really tied up to the previous roundtable where we really talked about how also Tetra Pak is redesigning their packages, how innovation is still key also for you as for with the Lavazza project that you shared, and of the importance of increasing awareness also among consumers. But now I would like to pass the mic to my colleague Flavia, who's going to introduce the following startup. Thank you so much. Flavia, the mic is yours.
Hi, everyone. This is Flavia from the venture team here at Provenance, Italy. So for starters, I'd like to thank again the team from Esselunga for the very insightful talk. And then I'd also like to move on to the next startups presenting today. The first one will be from the new materials and packaging space, and it will be a Papkot. And then we'll be moving on to other startups, 3 startups in the sustainability space. So the first one we'd like to present is Papkot. Papkot is going to be presented by Manuel from France. So I'd like to invite Manuel to come up on stage.
Hi, I'm Manuel, CEO and founder of Papkot. Papkot is a company on a mission to resolve once and for all the global plastic pandemic. Papkot solutions consist of applying coating to paper, providing paper properties as performant as plastic, while remaining as recyclable and biodegradable as pure paper. There is no packaging today able to solve this problem, while keeping paper as pure as it is with super high performances. I invested 100% of myself in Papkot, incorporated the company in November 2020 in order to get the solution to the market. Very early on, we developed close partnership with potential end users to ensure this solution is designed for our customers, but also with our customers. Papkot is developing this solution along with some major CPG companies in order to satisfy their needs, which is virgin or recycled paper to coat, printed or blank. The coating is fully recyclable. That means 100% recyclability rate, 99.9%, and for the biodegradability. And the way to obtain this for the biodegradability is to picking only building blocks from the BFR and FDA list. So Papkot is also food grade. So again, the coating is applied to industry standard coating or printing machines, resulting in a paper with surface properties equivalent to those of ceramic, protecting against grease, water, moisture, or other contaminants. All that while maintaining 100% flexibility, 100% recyclability, and 100% the original biodegradability of paper, equivalent to a pure paper. There is no one packaging today that combines all those properties in one material. So Papkot is a first-of-a-kind solution enabling for real 100% powerful paper packaging. These are 2 examples. On the left is the original packaging for frozen food. On the right is another frozen food pure paper, 100% recyclable and fully biodegradable. What does it take for our packaging companies, for our customers to adopt Papkot? Papkot's coating is a plug-and-play technology that integrates seamlessly in the existing manufacturing system of our customers, with no additional capex and no integration effort. All it requires, it's a successful formulation and that gets concrete results, after which ramp up can be immediate. We incorporated the company in November, we filed our AP, we validated everything industrially, and now we're getting the market with the first PO. We envisage in the next few months to set up our own production plant and research laboratory. Here are a few prospect customers we are working with. We're collaborating with them in order to achieve their results, their targets. So in this co-development, process ends up to the direct sales of our coating, so the liquid itself, to, again, paper or package manufacturer, our direct customers, and later on, licensing for higher volumes. If you need any information, just please reach out or visit the booth later after the pitches. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Manuel, for presenting Papkot. We'll be moving now on to the next company presenting today, which is Recyda. Recyda is going to be presented by Vivian from Germany. Vivian, please take the stage.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vivian from Recyda, and we are building the software solution for international packaging recyclability. As most of you probably know, recyclability of packaging is a topic of increasing importance. Companies are facing immense pressure, for example, through national changes in legislation, but also financial pressure, such as from plastic taxes, but also extended producer responsibility fees, and of course, the public pressure. The problem, however, is that recyclability is a very complex topic, as it depends on country-specific requirements, such as legislation, but also waste infrastructure. And there's no centralized data source where information is provided of what recyclability actually means in the different markets. Recyda is the first holistic approach that brings all of this together. We provide high-quality data on recyclability requirements in different countries, so on an international level, and we make this data usable through a software tool. In this way, we want to help brand owners, retailers, but also packaging producers to have the right information, save time, and also reduce risks and costs to help them set a basis for optimizing their packaging towards recyclability. But how does it work? Well, our tool is designed in a way that, first of all, you enter your packaging specification. So you digitally represent how your packaging is actually composed of. And for this, you can actually use our user interface, but also work with us to do a mass data import. Second of all, you then choose the rule sets you want to use as a basis for your recyclability assessment. This can be legal frameworks, but also design for recycling guidelines and industry recommendations. And then you receive your result based on the rule sets you chose on the technical recyclability of your packaging, but then also if it is actually recycled in practice, based on the country-specific infrastructure that you have in your target markets. With the detailed information we provide you with, you can then use the Recyda tool in different use cases. So first of all, as a design tool in packaging development to ensure that you comply with all legal requirements and also industry requirements in your packaging design. Brand owners and retailers also are very excited about our portfolio management use case, as we are able to provide you with a solution that can also process mass data so that we can actually look at thousands of packagings at once and make sure that with this you can manage your packaging data and reach circularity goals. And last but not least, we have the Sales and Insights tool, which allows you to use this information also within your organization in a cross-organizational knowledge sharing and making sure that all of your departments also work with the same data on packaging and on recyclability. We started Recyda last year, and we learned directly from the industry about these pain points and how complex this topic of recyclability is. And we then decided to develop our tool actually with the companies together. So we started a collaborative approach with different stakeholders from the industry and developed the tool as it is today. And we are now seeing our first customers licensing our tool and also using it in different valuable use cases. And we are looking forward to learning about your use cases to work towards a circular economy for packaging. So thank you very much from my side, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you and to also discussing any questions and opportunities.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Well, we're now moving on to the next company presenting today, which is Greencovery. And Greencovery is going to be presented by Carlos from Netherlands. So Carlos, please take the stage.
So hello, thanks for the invitation. My name is Carlos. I'm one of the founders of Greencovery. In our company, what we do is we upcycle circular ingredients from food company side streams. Why we do that? We do that because there's a problem in which we have been investing a lot in technology just to get rid of our waste. And this just generates CO2. And also the treatment is quite expensive. So what we want is to help our customers to bypass this problem and upcycle the ingredients into valuable resources. And by this, we help them to generate extra revenue, but also we help them to reduce the emissions and make nutritious ingredients out of it. And we help them as well to make these ingredients closer to the market where they're being produced. So who are we working with? So we normally work with food manufacturers, and we help them in different ways. We help them to increase their revenue by upcycle new ingredients from their side streams, but also we help them to reduce their wastewater treatment and the CO2 footprint. And we do this by making ingredients that are competitive in price, which have high purity, but also can be produced locally in their facilities. So some examples of ingredients that we have been, or the side stream that we have been working with, it's the vinegar industry, from the starch industry, as well from whey and fruit juice producers. And we work with different customers to first identify what is valuable in their side stream, but as well to make the link to the market in which the ingredient can be introduced to. We always tell the story of a customer that came to us and told us, hey, I would like to have this flavor produced here in Europe. And we went to the side stream owner, we told them that we want to upcycle the ingredient from their side stream. And the first reaction was that amount is really small. And when we showed to them that it's actually the amount that was needed for this application, it really makes a big difference. So we realized that we have to make the match between the side stream and the ingredients that is going to be produced. Here's some examples of the ingredients that we're producing. So we're focusing on 3 main groups: organic acids, amino acids, and fibers, to be used as flavors, preservatives, binders, and supplements. And some examples are, for example, the banana flavor that we're producing for one of our customers, and other umami flavors we're making from amino acids from other customers. We're basically focusing on the plant-based alternative and sport nutrition markets. And one of the main advantages that we can produce really high purity ingredients with low carbon footprint. What are our main competitive advantage? We have 3 main competitive advantage. One is our unique technology. So with this technology, like I said before, we can produce high purity ingredients. We use a novel separation technology based on CO2 expanded liquids. And this allows for carbon sequestration as well, and we don't produce waste side streams. But also beside the technology itself, we have been working together to make the link between the market of the ingredients and the source of the side stream. So that's the other main advantage, that we help our customer to identify what is the right market for the ingredient that they're going to produce. And last but not least, we're also exploring how to make the implementation easier for our customers and bringing them a capex-free solution in which we can invest together in the capex of the equipment and we share the profit that is being generated. So here's the teams. We are a bunch of engineers that wants to make a difference. We want to help build a more sustainable future in which we can upcycle a lot of ingredients out of our side streams. And yeah, thanks a lot, and looking forward to engage with you in further conversations.
Thank you, Carlos. And we'll now moving on to the last company within the sustainability space, which is Swirltex. And Swirltex is going to be presented by Melanie from Canada. So Melanie, please, when you're ready, take the stage.
Okay. Hi, I'm Melanie McClare. I'm the CEO of Swirltex. So at Swirltex, we understand that the future of wastewater treatment is decentralized and flexible. We unlock wastewater reuse potential across multiple industries with a vision of net zero wasted water. Many industries have the problem of water intensivity, where they have lots and lots of water use for their processing, but they lack economic solutions to treat and reuse their wastewater. This includes the food and beverage industry. At Swirltex, we create modular, scalable solutions with flexibility for payment. We're energy efficient. We use ultrafiltration membranes with our proprietary technology. Ultrafiltration rejects viruses, bacteria, and suspended solids, so it creates an ultra-pure water. The technology that we've created is called buoyancy enhanced membrane filtration. It's a very simple two-step process. The first step is gas injection, where we inject bubbles at the right pressure, volume, and size to help contaminants float. And then we spin, hence the name Swirltex. We spin the water through the tubular membrane. This effect creates more for less, meaning we can get more water through the membrane for less energy. And so our CapEx and OpEx has a positive influence. Our leadership team consists of various people from the water industry, careers in water technology, from chemical and food and beverage companies all the way to membrane companies. And we're based in North America right now. Our applications for this industry are oily wastewater filtration, wastewater reuse for irrigation. We also augment existing infrastructure, so customers don't have to buy new equipment. They can use the equipment that they've already invested in, and our system can help augment in situ solutions. Here's an example of a dairy wastewater where we're augmenting an existing dissolved air flotation technology. We're also very familiar with ponds and lagoons to augment them and recycle them and polish them. And we use this water for irrigation consistently. We have a flexible business model where customers don't have to buy equipment, they can rent it. They can pay per volume or per month, and we take the capital expenditure off their books. We own and operate the equipment, and they pay a service fee. Compared to other technologies, Swirltex creates very, very clean water at a lower cost. So if the customer is looking for ultra pure water and they want to reuse that water in their processes, a membrane is a good choice. And so compared to other technologies like DAFs, media filtration, bag filtration, or in existing ponds, Swirltex is a very complementary technology that can augment and polish off these existing technologies. Thank you, and please connect with me if you'd like to learn more about Swirltex.
Thank you so much to the startups, and thank you, Flavia. I would like now to move into the next and third fireside chat. Together, we are going to be talking together with Nural, digital CRM specialist, and Mario Supino, instead, digital CRM manager at Lavazza. What are we going to be talking today? Well, we are going to be learning how has Lavazza really leveraged new technologies to gather consumer insights. They've been working a lot with one of the startups of the previous batches. In this case was a Wonderflu, and we would like really to understand what they have done together. We all know how powerful data is, and probably now we should consider this as the new oil. It could have been relevant once, now data is really taken for granted. It's something that we really all need to understand how to leverage and how to make the best use out of it. And so I would love to start asking the first question of today's panel, which is going to be, how is really Lavazza leveraging this data to learn about his customer and really how to offer them, a better products and service?
Thank you, Arianna. Before answering your question, I just would like to introduce how we did. We started to leverage data in Lavazza. I've been working here in this company for 3 years, starting from 2018, when we had just the technical use of data for marketing purpose. So we decided to start and to create a CRM strategy based on 11 pillars. I won't go in each of them, but our goal was to create a common semantic language, to speak the same language from HQ and market, to increase the customer journey and the customer lifetime value of our users, to start segmenting and personalizing our communication, to leverage technology, to create an operating model in order to work with the markets, to create a campaign strategy and manage all the campaign steps, to provide the market with a country toolkit in order to leverage data and start campaigns. We also covered the business to business, and all this stuff were covered by a business case created before. We started working in this way, and all those 11 pillars ended to a strategic leverage of data with 3 main pillars, 3 main stream of work. The first is data collection, data analysis. The second was data analysis, and the third one, data activation. Nur will speak better about those 3 pillars in the following slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario, and thank you, Arianna. So let's go in more detail to answer your previous question. So as we said, as previously my colleague Mario was already saying, these 3 main pillars, these 3 stream of work are the main way in which we actually use data inside our company. So we have data collection, data analysis, and data activation. And when we talk about data collection, we talk about the presence in different touch points, thanks to which we are able to collect data from our current and also potential customers. And we use this data that we acquire in these different touch points to then build our customer data platform. We enhance it and we analyze all our KPIs that are connected to our users to be able to then have some marketing activations. What does it mean? It means that then we use our data that we have collected to then create some specific journeys to create value throughout the customer lifetime journey of our users. And then of course we are able to use some let's say some marketing automations, and among these we have for example some dedicated specific customer journeys, or some dedicated campaigns for some specific targets, and some triggered emails according to some specific events that we have a particular focus on. Here you can see an example of this kind of let's say customer journey. As you can see, we have a focus in all the different phases of the customer lifetime journey, and we are present both online and offline in different ways. As you can see, for example, just to give you a few examples of what does it mean to be present in different phases of the customer journey. It means that once a customer is entering for the first time in our database and we have it inside our Lavazza world, we, for example, can send him an email saying him, welcome to our world. We are really happy of having you. And so being present also in other relevant moments and have not only communication that are specific for promotional purposes, but also purposes that are important for us as Lavazza.
So you really have been working on creating a personalized journey and communication strategy for each of your customers. And what kind of challenges have you been trying to solve by leveraging this data?
Well, of course, we do have some challenges. As we were saying before, we started using data and to leverage on it, but nothing would be possible without the use of technology. So from one side, of course, we also have to consider what kind of technologies and what kind of side activities are connected to data. And from one side, for sure, we do have to consider that the increasing GDPR regulations and the continuous regulations improvements have to be taken into consideration as one of our main challenges, because we have to be constantly there and ready to adapt and to change, because it's crucial for us to be there and to be responsive to this kind of changes. But on the other side, as we were saying, there is technology. So we don't have to be ready only from the regulation point of view, but also from the technological point of view. So we have to be ready to address all the twists that we can face once there is a technological shift. Just to give you an example, the shift from the cookie-centric world to a cookieless world is an incredible example that can be given for these changes that are happening in this current period. So for sure, these two aspects are the key challenges that we are facing today.
It's absolutely something that is changing dramatically the world, especially for those working in the digital marketing space, the fact that you will not be able to leverage cookies anymore. And we've been seeing this, working with also other partners. But when you've been talking a lot about technologies. What do you think are the most promising one that will actually be used in the future to understand even better your clients and enhance your, already existing and new products?
Well, as we were saying before, we do have some challenges, right? And we do believe that a really important part of the use of technology can be in the future focus on the enhancement of the customer data platforms and the technology used by them. First of all, because they will be able to allow us to manage in a more efficient way the first-party data, which right now are getting always more attention and more value also for us. And from the other side, we also have to embrace new technologies, as we were saying, also because all those technologies like artificial intelligence or the machine learning algorithms that can allow us to have a better understanding of the user will be incredible tools that will allow us to be always ready to adapt, to change, and to give the most personalized offer experience, and to be there when our customer wants to, and be there when they need us. And of course, to be able to address this kind of challenges, we will need technologies that are going to be plug and play. And so, of course, this is a crucial element for us to always be there and also look out for new startups that are going to develop for us and for the world these kind of technologies.
Thank you so much, Noor. I have one last question, probably a jolly question. And, at the beginning, we've been talking about the fact that you've been leveraging a lot Wonderflow, how you've been, able to track and analyze and personalize the journey for your customers. What has been, an output of the relationship with with a player such as startup as Wonderflow, and the fact that you've been leveraging all these insights that you have gathered throughout the customer journey, and how has this been able to deliver them a better product? I don't know if Mario, you want to take this one.
I'm not so sure to understood completely your question, but I can tell you that the first output that we can see on leveraging our data is an increasing of our performance in terms of engagement, in terms of on conversion. We can see that campaign based on data of our customer. For instance, if we know the preferred products, if we know the let me say the frequency of purchasing, can perform better than spot campaign that we can spread out to all our customers. And this is, but it's not, they are not different for, let me say, a minimum base point, but there is a huge difference between those data. So we can say definitely that all the relationship that we have with our customer, with our user, based on our knowledge on them, perform well. Not only in terms of conversion, pure conversion on our e-commerce, but in terms of engagement, because we see that user and customers are more interested in communication that are more personalized and more customized on their need, on their preference, and on their features.
Thank you so much. No, you absolutely center the questions. Well, at this one, I would like to thank you, Nur, and thank you, Mario, for sharing such impressive insights, how you've been leveraging them. And I'm sure this is going to allow us to have, a more customized coffee cup in the future.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'm going to pass back the mic to Flavia, who's going to be introducing more startups ahead of time. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you again to the Lavazza team for presenting all these fantastic insights with us today. We'll be now moving on to the companies presenting from the retail and analytics space. The first one coming up on stage will be Neurons, presented by Mike from Denmark. So Mike, when you're ready, please take the stage.
Hi, and welcome to my capabilities presentation today. Just to give you a brief intro, my name is Mike Storm. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Neurons, Inc. And today we will be telling you how to use neuroscience to best understand and assess your consumers. First of all, what is Neurons, Inc.? Well, Neurons, Inc. is a consumer neuroscience company, which means that we use the newest technologies and methodologies within psychology and neuroscience to assess, understand consumer responses. This way, you can actually tap into the subconscious responses and the things that people make decisions on every single moment without asking them typical survey questions. This way, you can also predict consumer behavior much, much better. Neurons, Inc. has been doing this for 15 years now, 8 of them academic and 8 of them commercial, with a lot of good academic affiliations over the world. But what is it really that we do? Well, we measure a couple of different things. We measure attention. So attention is, what does the consumer look at? What do they miss? What do they stay with for longer and less time to be engaged? But attention is one thing. What people look at gives you one part of it. Therefore, we also measure emotions and cognitive responses, as emotions gives you, will people be interested, disinterested, motivated, want to buy it, want to feel quality for it, and everything like that. And cognitive load means whether people will understand it, have an ease of working with it, and actually have a higher chance of memorizing it, which is the 4th measurement. Of course, we do this implicitly or in the subconscious, but we also add on stated survey questions to complete the understanding of the consumer responses. We do this in 3 different ways. We use 3 different tools or solutions that we have developed here at Neurons, Inc. One of them being NeuroVision, all the way to the left here. NeuroVision is an AI cloud-based SaaS solution, which gives you access to a predictive attention model, where this prediction model can actually predict eye tracking attention with more than 90% accuracy, just in the matter of seconds. So this gives you the access to an online platform where you can predict attention, and cognitive responses. NeuroVision cannot tell you anything about emotions, memory, or stated responses at this point in time, and this is why we have multiple products. Our second product is called Neuro Online. Neuro Online is a platform where you can go and test consumer responses in the cloud, again, online with people, using online eye tracking, emotional and stated testing, and also implicit response testing. This way, you can assess both attention, emotions, cognitive responses, memory, and stated responses all together. Typically, turnaround time in a matter of days to be able to get access to your consumer responses. And finally, we have NeuroLab. NeuroLab is our kind of flagship solution, works with EEG and eye tracking, as the guy here on the right side is wearing. This is really in-depth research solution where you can test second-by-second responses of the consumer at any point in time, when they watch a video, when they're on the web, when they're anywhere. So really possible to do anything. And this, of course, measures everything, but the sample sizes are slightly lower at 30 people for NeuroLab and 200 people for Neuro Online. The people that we've been working with through time are manifold, all types of clients within retail, automotive, tech, FMCG, financials, pharma, and so forth. So the solutions of neuroscience can actually be used anywhere. It's just like a typical survey. It's just giving you a lot more details and a lot more insights that you can't get from a survey. Finally, I just want to say thank you for taking the time here at the Summer Summit, and thank you for listening in on our capabilities deck here. Please feel free to contact us for any type of questions. We're here to help. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mike. We'll now be moving on to the next company presenting today, which is Oriient. And Oriient is going to be presented by Mikey from Israel. So Mikey, when you're ready, please take the stage.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mickey Balter. I'm CEO and co-founder at Oriient. We can't really imagine our world without GPS. We come to rely on it for our day-to-day, but sometimes GPS does fail. This actually happened 2 years ago. So let's imagine what such a world would look like. So it's a world with no Waze, with no Google Maps. It's a world where you're lost. And it's a world where FedEx can't operate its business correctly. And even Tinder doesn't work. So luckily, this doesn't happen very often, and GPS is very reliable. But every time we go into a supermarket or a large store, we lose GPS and we have to navigate through a huge store with a huge assortment with nothing to help guide us. And this has been a problem for quite some time, and people have tried to solve it with quite a few technologies, from Bluetooth beacons to Wi-Fi to even using smart lights. But all of these technologies failed to deliver what GPS has from day one, which is an accurate and scalable solution. So in the end, we have to memorize maps of large stores in order to find our way around. We at Oriient change all that by introducing indoor navigation that simply works. It provides 3 feet of accuracy in any building, anywhere in the world. And the most important thing about it is that we do it all without any hardware. There is no Wi-Fi, no beacons, no hardware whatsoever. What we do use is in every building you've ever visited. It's in your home right now. And that's Earth's magnetic field. That's one side. The other side is sitting in your pocket. If you ever wondered why your smartphone needs a compass, it's for running our technology. So we take Earth's magnetic field together with the compass in your phone and combine them together to be able to determine the exact location of the smartphone inside any building with 3 feet accuracy. Let's have a look at some of the things you can implement once you have this capability. So you can go into a store, search for a product, and get guidance directly to the shelf where that is. My personal favorite is going into the supermarket with my shopping list and being able to navigate through the shortest route to collect all the items on my list. You can also use it to share promotions at the right time and the right place, highly contextualized. So while the product is within a hand's reach, you send the marketing message to the user. And the system generates a lot of data. For the first time, you can really understand with a scalable solution what your shoppers are doing in the store, understand traffic patterns, understanding layout, and turning physical store decisions into data-driven decisions. So this is what we do with Oriient in retail, but it's also applicable in many other industries and many other verticals, and that's our vision. Our vision is to provide indoor location services in any building, anywhere. Our technology is patented. We are a Tel Aviv-based team of 17 people. We already have a product on the market, generating sales. We're actually at over $1 million ARR, and we're currently raising our A round. So if you want to talk to us, get in touch and talk to us about interesting use cases for indoor GPS or our upcoming round. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mikey, for sharing Orient with us today. And I'll now be giving back the mic to Arianna.